Hi everyone. Today's card's going to be really easy. I've pulled out the Rustic Wilderness in the Distress Oxides. I'm going to make a bunting, so I've pulled out some string. So pop that to one side. I'm going to be using the Sentimentally Yours Enchanted Blooms. Now this is the new release from Phil Martin. And it's got these really pretty pop-out elements within this pack. Let's take one out in particular. We've got this beautiful bloom of flowers. We've got a pot with some flowers, some balloons. We've got the watering can and a vase. We've got some beautiful butterflies at the top. We might pop one of those out. But there's quite a lot of different elements to this paper pad. Some cupcakes, cup and saucer, some hearts, and it's really beautiful, rich colors. I love this one, the balloons in the basket. Oh, there's a candle there as well. Every time you look at it, you see something different. And you've also got the corresponding dotty papers that go with it. You've got the reverse as well, so that's the white with the orange, and then you've got the orange with the white dots. So that's what we're using today. I've already pulled out the two elements that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using the pot, and I'm going to be using this flourish of flowers to make it, pop them together, and that will look like that's in a vase. The sentiment I'm going to be using is from the Just Saying Rustic Verses, and this is the birthday wish. And actually all I want out of this stamp for the front is the words birthday wish. So I will be masking the rest of that off, but then I expect I'll use the whole verse on the inside. Pop that to one side. I've used an embossing folder. This is a sumptuously quilted 3D embossing folder, and I'll show you how that looks on the cardstock. It's absolutely stunning. And for my card base, I've used the double pierced rectangles, and I've used the first one, which I cut twice for my card base, the second one for my first mat, and then the third one in for my second mat. So if I pop all that to one side and bring in my bits, and I'll show you what I've done already. So I've done one of the buntings. I'll show you how to do the buntings when we get to that stage. So this is my card base. I've cut the two pieces. This is the biggest die, and they measure 6 inches across by 8.5 inches in depth. I can either have this as a top fold or a landscape fold. It's entirely up to you. My first matte layer I've cut in this lovely lemony cream colour, which is 5.5 inches by just over 7 3/4. And then the top layer, which I embossed, is 5 inches by 7.25 inches. And if you look at this embossing on this fold, this piece of white cardstock, is absolutely stunning, and it's just as stunning on the reverse. So this is the embossed and this is the debossed side. So that's the products that I'm using there. So the first thing I need to do is make my card blank. So with my two pieces of white cardstock, I'm going to pop down my scoring board, and with one of those pieces I'm going to butt this right up to the edge on the short side, and I'm going to score this down at 3/8 of an inch. I'll just pop that back. So we've got this score line at 3/8 of an inch. And if I take in my glue, I'm just going to run a nice line of glue all along the top and just up to the crease. Making sure that your stitching is the right way around. I'm going to pop the next piece on top. Get those nicely lined up. And we've now created our own card base. And that's the beauty of the big matting in layering dies. You can make your card bases with them. They're not just for matting and layering. With our first matte layer, I am going to pop that one up with some foam tape. So as always, just run a nice line of foam tape all around those edges. Quite grey out there today. Weather doesn't seem to want to be able to make its mind up. We're just gonna pop a couple of pieces down the centre, and that will just stop the card from buckling in the middle. Give those a really nice burnish. And then if you're taking my pokey tool, I'm just going to remove those outer backings halfway, and then these centre ones we can remove completely. Taking back in my card, just making sure I got that the right way around. I'm going to get this one nicely lined up, and then we can remove those backings. So that's our card base done. Now if I take in my embossed piece, what I'd like to do with this, on every one of these tiny raised dots, is pop some glitter. Now, you really do need a precision glue bottle for this, so that you don't get glue pouring out. So I'm going to speed this up, because I'm sure you don't want to watch me glue in every single dot. I think I've got the majority of those. So we're just taking my glitter, and just run some glitter across and see if we've missed any. I'm not overly worried about missing the odd one. But how lovely does that look? And that's really changed that embossing folder up now with all that lovely glitter on there. So I'm just going to pop that to one side to dry. And show you how I did my bunting. So I've done the first one. I've put the first one on the second one. What I did was I cut myself 2 strips of the different colours. So I cut 6 strips in total, and these measure 3/4 of an inch in width by 1 3/4 in depth, and I scored that at 1/2 inch across the back, folded that over, and then I cut myself on an angle the tails. So this fold over piece allows me to now pop some glue on the back of there, and if you leave about 1 centimetre just under between the two, which allows the string to bend, and just fold that one over. So that's that one, and then that's slightly different, but it doesn't matter. Trouble with me is I'm a perfectionist, so it does matter. Should have done the yellow one next. So just pop some glue on the back of the yellow one. About 1 centimetre away from the one before. Making sure that your string's right up to the crease, and just give that one a press down. There we go. Better pop a tiny bit more glue on the back of that one. And again, turn that over and give that a nice press down. And now we've got our second set of buntings, and on the end all I did was a knot. I want my knot to be just about there. So that's how I did the bunting. I'll chop that end off. So there's the 2 buntings ready. While we're waiting for that glue to dry, we could do our sentiment. So I've got a spare piece of the cream coloured card, and all I want from the stamp set is the word birthday wish on the front. So take out the stamps. And with this one, I need to mask off the top line, which is just there, and then the line underneath, which is just there. Okay, so if we pop that down and I'm going to pick up that stamp. I'm going to ink this up in the Distress Oxide Rustic Wilderness. So make sure you get a nice amount of ink on that stamp. This, I think I've said before, Distress Oxides are not primarily for sentiment. They're meant for blending. Right, I've got a tiny bit just down there which I need to get rid of. Always remember to remove your tape. And what I think I'll do is get that nice and straight. And give that a nice stamp down. There we go, birthday wish. Always remember to clean off your stamp. I'm going to leave that on the block because we are going to be using that again. And I actually quite like the fact that it's got the stitching on the bottom. So I might see if I can keep that. So if I take in my scissors, what I think I'll do is go up on an angle. And we'll see if we can cut this straight. It's not too bad. No, we need to take off the bottom, so just going to take off that line of stitching. So we've got our sentiment birthday wish. So we've done that job. Pop my lid back on my glue. And now if we take back in our glittered piece, and pop that over, and again with this one, this is going to go up on double-sided foam tape. So by popping a tiny bit of glue on each of those dots, it's almost like they look beaded. We haven't used beads, so we've actually saved some beads there. Absolutely beautiful. Remove those backings. That looks absolutely stunning. Okay, so with our pot, now I had already popped some foam tape on the back of this one, but I am going to pop another layer because I want that to be quite high. And I'd already used this image, but I didn't like the end result of the card, so I took it back off. Remove that back in, and if we pop some glue just down the edges, and decide where we want this to go. Now I don't know whether to have this central or to one side. I think we'll have it central, and I think we'll go up maybe to about there. Perfect. And the same with the flowers. I'd already used them and then took them off because I didn't like the end result of the card I'd made. Just take the overhang away there, remove that back in, and again pop some glue just all down the edges. If I turn this to one side, this one's going to slightly slot in. And that makes that look like the florals are coming out of the pot. Absolutely beautiful. And by having that double layer of foam tape, it really brings it off of the page. Okay, so with our bunting, obviously you can decide which way around you want these to go. I think I think they're both the same. Yeah, they are both the same. That's absolutely fine. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to pop some glue across the back of each bunting. Decide how I want that to go, roughly there. And then this one is going to cross over and come down this way. So again, you can pop your glue on the string if you want to. I just think it's nice to have the string free. I'm going to cross that over and try and get that. I think that needs to go up a bit more, just there. Try and get it level. Give that one a press down. Just keep looking at your work. I might pull that one up a bit actually. Yeah, beautiful. So obviously they take a couple of seconds to dry, and then with our birthday wish, I think I'm going to have mine to one side. Now I'm debating using a backing for that one. So I can pick out any one of these. I think we'll pick out the red. So all I'm going to do with this is glue this to this piece of cardstock. I'm going to leave a tiny border all around the edge. And then just chop that all along there and up there, and this one's going to sit just there. I'm going to pop this one up with some foam pads. I think the foam tape is a bit too wide. So I've got a nice strip come off there. So just pop those along. Just take a tiny bit off of that one. I think hubby's doing some DIY. Don't know what he's doing. I think the bungalow that we've bought, I think I've told you that we're renovating. The outside is, what is it they call it when the outside's painted? Rendered. Yeah, the outside's rendered, and all the render is peeling off. It looks absolutely horrendous. So every spare minute he gets, he goes out and he knocks a bit more off. I'm going to go in line. Oh, yeah, I'm going to go in line with the white, and I'm going to have it this way. There we go. Yeah, and every time I walk past the front door, I pick a bit more off, and I think eventually, maybe after 100 years, we'll get it all off. How stunning is that little card? Cards don't have to be OTT. A little bit of embossing. I did previously put some glitter on the centre of those, and a few bits down here. Right, so now we can turn this over and fold back our scored base, so that allows our card to stand up. And what I thought I would do is the sentiment reads, we have birthday wish on the front. The sentiment reads, a very special birthday wish is being sent your way to wish you all the very best and have a lovely day. And what I thought I would do is I would just pop that in the middle, and I would do that again in the forest moss, was it? No, rustic wilderness, sorry. Don't really want that happen there. Let's just get rid of that and do that again. Just make sure you've got enough ink on there. A very special birthday wish is being sent your way to wish you all the very best and have a lovely day. Get your cardstock nice and straight. And we're just gonna pop that one just there. Give that a really nice press down. Sometimes I think you're better off just leaving your stamp there for a little while, making sure that that ink transfers. And there's our lovely sentiment for the inside. That stamp a nice clean off. And we can pop that back in a minute. Put the lid back on there. Okay, so that's today's card. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, as I said, sometimes you just need a few elements on a card. We're letting the embossing do the talking on these beautiful popped out images. Well, I hope you enjoyed my little video. This is an oversized card, so I will have to make an envelope for it. So what did we say it was in total? So the card is actually 8.5 by 6. So I will need to make an envelope for that one. But anyway, let's just pop that like that so it doesn't touch. Thank you for watching, and until the next time, bye for now.